Hi everyone, and welcome to this webinar on getting started at thisislanguage.com. We really are delighted to have you on board this year. My name is Laura, and I'm Content Manager here at thisislanguage.com. I'm really looking forward to giving you a sense of what thisislanguage.com can offer you in terms of hybrid learning solutions, student engagement, and time saving too, especially with regard to lesson planning and marking. I want to make sure we have plenty of time for your questions at the end, so I'll only aim for around half an hour from me to begin with. I promise I won't keep you too long. Also, as soon as we finish, I will send around links to written instructions for everything that I cover here today, so please don't worry about taking notes or recording this webinar. So, let's get started. A quick summary. Today we're going to look at how to find relevant, level-appropriate videos to use with your classes, using and setting the exercises that accompany all of our videos, our interactive grammar tool, where to find it and how it works, how to keep tabs on your students' scores and progress on the site, our student favourite vocab game, Nutty Tiles, and crucially, how to add your students and classes to the site. This is by no means an exhaustive list of everything that thisislanguage.com has to offer, but we'll cover all of the basics so that you'll be in a good position to log on and explore the site for yourself. First of all, I think it's worth stepping back and giving you an overview of who we are at thisislanguage.com and what we're all about. Thisislanguage.com is an online video-based resource for teachers and students of French, Spanish, German and Italian. We provide around 10,000 videos and over 40,000 automatically marked vocab, grammar and comprehension exercises. We are founded on 3 core principles. Firstly, authenticity. All of our videos are 100% unscripted. We feature young native speakers talking about their own lives using the language they always use. Number 2. Efficiency. We are dedicated to saving you and your colleagues time on everything from lesson planning to marking and monitoring progress. Our learning zone is stocked with loads of fantastic relevant language content for your classroom. Student progress is easy to track with the automatic marking system and results log. And finally, inspiration. We know that students need to be engaged in order to learn. So we work hard to make sure that our resources appeal to students through points, leaderboards and friendly competition. Right, now that you've got a bit of a sense of us, let's get stuck in. I just want to let you know that I'm going to be using screenshots from the site today, rather than accessing the site itself. This is purely for bandwidth reasons. I am working remotely and hosting this webinar on my home Wi-Fi. I'm also going to be working in the French section of the site, but everything that I show you here today works in exactly the same way in the other languages too, and we have equal quantities of content in all of the languages that we offer. So, I want to start by showing you how to find a relevant, level-appropriate video to use with your students. When you log into the site, you'll see this row of buttons across the top of the page. Just click Videos to start exploring the content that we have on offer. As you can see, our videos are organised thematically to make it as easy as possible for you to find one that's suitable for any given lesson. Videos are divided first into these broader themes, the likes of which you're all very familiar with, I'm sure. Friends and family, free time and leisure, education and work, my area, home and health, and holidays and travel. We then divide them into these smaller topics, or as we like to call them, tags. For example, sports or environment. In some cases, we have also included tense references on these tags, like this one, Sports Future, to help you find videos featuring the right grammatical structures for your classes. Once you've chosen a tag, in this case I went for Your Family, you'll see a page that looks like this, with a list of all of the videos that match the chosen topic. At the top, you can see the question. This is the question we asked our interviewees, and each box below is a video of someone's answer to that question. As you scroll down the page, you'll see lots of other questions and answers too. Our aim is for you to be able to wave goodbye to the days and evenings of trolling YouTube for hours on end in the hope of finding something both relevant and level appropriate. Once you've chosen a video from this list, you'll come to a page that looks like this. This is the video page itself. You have the video in the top left and the exercises and other tools down the right-hand side. There are a few things that I'd like to highlight for you on this page. First of all, the video ID. Each video on thisislanguage.com has a unique ID number to make it as easy as possible for you to find videos that you've enjoyed using. All you need to do is type this ID into the search bar at the top of the screen, and you'll be taken directly to this page from wherever you are on thisislanguage.com. The second thing I want to point out, the difficulty rating. All videos on thisislanguage.com are rated between 1 and 5 stars for difficulty. The rating takes into account everything from tenses and grammar to vocabulary, speed of speech, accent, and whether or not the speaker hesitates. The next thing I want to point out to you is something quite important, and that's our snail function. This button slows the video down by a third, just enough to help your students follow what's being said, but not so much that the audio becomes distorted. Below the video itself, you'll see a list of related videos. These videos are simply other people answering the exact same question. This is great for giving students the opportunity to compare responses, for example, or for finding an easier or harder video on the very same topic. One final thing I want to point out to you on this page is the transcript. The good news is that it does what it says on the tin. It's a full transcript of everything that's said in the video. As a teacher, you can decide whether or not your students have access to the transcript themselves. Right, now that we've covered that, let's have a look at the 4 exercise types that accompany every video on thisislanguage.com, represented by the coloured buttons down the right-hand side. First up is the jigsaw. Jigsaw is a drag and drop gap filling exercise. As they watch the video, students are asked to drag and drop missing words into the correct spaces in the transcript. They can watch the video multiple times to help them complete the task, making Jigsaw an excellent entry-level activity. As with all of the exercises on thisislanguage.com, the Jigsaw is automatically marked, and students are asked to correct their answers before they move on, helping to ensure that they make tangible progress even when a teacher isn't present. Students get points for every correct answer that they give to the jigsaw, and indeed to any exercise anywhere on the site. We all know the power of a bit of friendly competition. The next exercise I'd like to show you is video vocab. In this exercise, students are taught and tested on teacher-selected vocabulary from the video. First of all, students are shown a series of flashcards featuring the uninflected forms of the vocabulary, along with an accompanying image and audio. Once they're ready, students move on to practice typing out the words in the target language in response to an English prompt. When students make a mistake, they will be asked to copy out the correct answer and will then be retested on the words they got wrong at the end of the exercise to really drive home those spellings. Next up, we have gap fill. Gap fill is designed as a follow-on activity to the video vocab and tests students on the inflected forms of the same vocabulary taken from the video. As they watch the video, students are asked to type the missing words into the correct gaps in the transcript. The typing element of this exercise test students' spelling in the target language and, at the higher levels of difficulty, their ability to agree adjectives, for example, and conjugate verbs according to the context of the video. As with all of the exercises on thisislanguage.com, gap fill is automatically marked, meaning that students get instant feedback and the chance to correct their errors. It really is perfect for independent work. And last but not least, we have the comprehension. For this exercise, students must answer a series of multiple choice comprehension questions as they watch the video. In some ways, the most challenging exercise, comprehensions are designed to test students' general understanding of the target language and context. Again, their answers are automatically marked. Now that we've seen what each of the exercises entails, I'd like to show you how to set them for your students. Simply click the grey Set an Exercise button and you'll see this box. In this box, just select the exercise you'd like students to complete, the class you'd like to set it for, and a due date where applicable. Then click Save. This exercise will now appear in your feed, like so. From here, you can see how many of your students have completed the work and click the green button to see how well they did. The exercise will also appear in your students' feeds, like this, so that they can easily see what work they have to complete and when it's due. Next up, I'd like to show you our interactive grammar learning tool, which you'll find behind the pink button on this page. Depending on where you are in the world, the button will either say grammar or structure. As you can see, the grammar section covers all of the structures that your students need and helps them learn and improve through the use of wacky explainer videos and carefully scaffolded interactive exercises. Any given section looks a little something like this. After having watched a very wacky 2-minute explainer video and read a teacher-written explanation on the formation and usage of the structure in question, students work their way through the following exercises. Firstly, identification. In this exercise, students are asked simply to pick out the word or structure they are learning from within an example target language sentence. Secondly, multiple choice. Here, students must select the correct form of the structure to fill a gap in the target language sentence. And finally, spelling. Next, students must fill the gap in the sentence by typing in the missing words themselves. These grammar exercises are designed to be increasingly challenging to help students develop first their receptive and then their productive skills too. Our unique responsive teaching system adapts to the students' answers, only allowing them to proceed to the next exercise once they have mastered the previous stages. I think there's a general idea that grammar is something which needs to be taught in a more traditional teacher at the front of the class style. So I wanted to show you that what we have here is a tool which really does allow students to make tangible progress on grammar when working by themselves. Now, I'd like to show you something that's really good fun. This is Nutty Tiles. Nutty Tiles is a real-time multiplayer game for learning vocabulary. Students can play against their classmates as well as other students from around the world as they compete over the game's 50 levels. Each level introduces at least 20 new words, which students must type quickly and accurately, of course, in the target language. They cannot move on until they have mastered every word in each level, making Nutty Tiles great for expanding vocabulary and improving students' abilities to recall words quickly. This really is a favourite amongst students, and I'd recommend just letting them loose on it. You'll be amazed at the results. So, once you've got your students working away, you're going to want to be able to keep an eye on how they're doing. and monitor their progress. We've got lots of tools to help you do this quickly and easily. To see your students' scores on work that you've set for them, just click on your name in the top right-hand corner and select Classes from the drop-down menu. On the following page, click the View Work icon next to the class in question. You'll then see a list of all of the exercises that you've set for them. Use the View button to see a full list of each student's scores, or use the green buttons at the top to download them as a spreadsheet. Now, there's just one more super important thing that you need to know how to do, and that's how to actually add your students to the thisislanguage.com account. It's really, really important that I stress now that there is more than one way of doing this. We've worked hard to make the student upload functionality as flexible as possible for you. Today, I'm going to show you what I think is the simplest way, so that you can crack on and get set up as soon as possible. There are 2 stages to this method. First, we create the classes, and then we add the students into the classes. Step 1. Adding classes. To get to the classes page, just click on your name in the top right-hand corner and select Classes from the drop-down menu. Then, click on the green Add a Class button. You'll then be asked to fill in the class details, including class name, language, year group, and owner or teacher of the class. Here, you can also choose whether or not your class can use our snail function. This function lets the students slow our videos down by 1/3. Not so much as to distort the audio, but just enough to make the videos slightly easier to understand. Once you've entered all of the necessary details, click Add a Class. On the page that follows, rather than adding the students for this one class, I suggest you click the Classes button in the left-hand menu to return to your class list, and repeat these steps until you have added all of the classes that you need. At this point, you will be ready to move on to step 2, adding students into the classes you've created, all in one go. On to step 2. All you need to do is click on your name again in the top right-hand corner, and this time select Students from the drop-down menu. On this page, you select which method you'd like to use to add your students to your account. Today, I'm going to show you how to use the Advanced Student Upload, as it allows you to add all of the students in your school, all in one go, using a spreadsheet. Just click on this button. On this page, there really is a lot of text, but please don't worry about reading it now. This page just gives you a template spreadsheet to use for your upload and detailed step-by-step instructions on how to fill in that spreadsheet and then how to upload it. By including the names of the classes you created in step 1, you'll find that the students are magically added into their classes once you upload the spreadsheet. I do have a couple of top tips for a seamless student upload. Although, again, these are not set in stone and there are other methods. Tip number 1. Use students' school email addresses if you can. This is advantageous because they already know what it is, so you can just say, log in with your school email address. Similarly, tip number 2 is to give every student the same password to begin with. This will make it really easy to get everyone logged in first time round, after which they can create a more memorable and more secure password for themselves. It's important to note here that the password that you give students in the spreadsheet must be at least 8 characters long, or else the spreadsheet won't upload. My third tip is to make sure that your spreadsheet looks nice and ordinary. Formatting in a spreadsheet can sometimes cause problems, so avoid things like colours, fonts, and unusual layouts. Just remember, your spreadsheet should look exactly like the picture on this instruction page. And my fourth and final tip is to make sure that your spreadsheet of students is in one of these file formats: .xlsx or .csv. Don't worry, this is really easy to do. When you save your spreadsheet, you'll see the file format right underneath the box where you enter the file's name. Just make sure that this box says either .xlsx or .csv. Click Save, and you're good to go. Now all that's left to do is to upload the file and then finish the process by clicking the green Upload button. I'm very aware that we've been through all of this quite quickly, but as I said, I will be sending around a text version of everything I've covered here so that you can refer to it as you start this process. But just like that, your students will be able to log in. They just need to enter the username and password that you've given them into the login screen. Click Login, and they'll then be asked to create a more memorable and secure password for themselves. And that's it. That's how your students will log into thisislanguage.com from here on out. Just before we finish, there's one last thing I'd like to show you, and that's our textbook guides. To find them, click on the yellow Printables button on the home page and then select Textbook and Curriculum Guides. Textbook guides match our content to every page and unit of the textbook that you're using to help you integrate our resources into your schemes of work as easily as possible. They look a little something like this. Simply look at the textbook page that you're on in our textbook guide and you'll see a list of videos, grammar and vocab that fits with it. We have around 180 textbook guides on thisislanguage.com at the moment, but if yours isn't there, please do get in touch with us and we'll do our very best to make one for you. Right, I've taken up more than enough of your time now. It's over to you. If you do have any questions on anything that's covered here today, please get in touch with us. You can contact us at any time on skills@thisislanguage.com or reach out to us via our social media channels. We've also got detailed written instructions on everything that I've covered here today and more in our help section. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I hope you enjoyed it and have a lovely rest of your day. Bye!